Today we're going to talk about probability. At the top we can see that the probability of an event, or P parentheses event, equals a fraction that says number of times the event occurs over the total number of equally likely possible outcomes. So the amount of times that something happens over the amount of options that it could actually happen. When we get the answer for a probability, we can kind of chart it on a number line, because probability is a guess of what is likely to happen. So we can see that 0% is impossible, around 25% is unlikely, as likely as not is 50%, likely is around 75%, and you're certain when it is 100%. So now we're going to put it to use. Each time you roll a number cube, which is like a dice, a number from 1 to 6 lands face up. This is called an event. Please write the probability of the following scenarios and check for which category the event belongs. So we see the first one is rolling a number that is less than 7. So we have on a number cube 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I like to underline or circle or highlight which ones are available for that event. So this says rolling a number that is less than 7. So when I look, I see 6 is less than 7, 5 is less than 7, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that is all of my options. So that is 6 options. Wrong pen. That is 6 options out of 6 options. Next we have rolling an 8. So again, I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for my number cube. None of those are 8. So I have 0 chances out of 6 possible chances. The next is rolling a number that is greater than 4. So I write out my numbers again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to highlight the ones that are greater than 4. So 1 is not greater than 4, 2 is not greater than 4, 3 is not greater than 4, 4 is not greater than 4, 5 is, and 6 is. So that means I have 2 options out of 6 total options. Now, this fraction can be reduced down to 1/3. Next, we have rolling a 5. So we put our numbers out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Now, rolling a 5. So I can highlight just the 5 here. So that gives me 1 out of 6. Now, moving on to the next one. Rolling a number other than 6. So I write out my number choices again. These are the possible outcomes that could happen. Now, rolling a number that is not 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 5 options out of 6 total possible. Now we have our next one, rolling an even number. So I write out my options again. I just need even numbers now. 2, 4, 6. So that is 3 out of 6, which can reduce down to 1/2. Moving on to the next one, rolling a number less than 5. Gonna highlight my options that are available. Less than 5. So that's 4, 3, 2, 1. So that is 4 outcomes out of 6, which can reduce down to 2/3. Next one, rolling an odd number. Write out my options. Odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5. So I get 3 options out of 6 total, which reduces down to 1/2. And my last one, rolling a number that is divisible by 3. So we have to ask which numbers can be divided easily by 3. 1 cannot, 2 cannot, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that's an easy one. 4 cannot, 5 cannot, 6 divided by 3 is 2, so that's a good one. So we get 2 out of 6, which reduces down to 1/3. So now let's go back and put them back into categories. So let's start this first one up here. 6 out of 6, which equals the 100%. So that would be certain. Next one, 0 out of 6 is impossible if we look at our number line. Next one, 1/3. 1/3. So that's not 0, but it's not quite 50%. 1/3 is 33%. So that's going to be right towards the unlikely. So it could happen, but it is unlikely. Next one, rolling a 5, we got 1/6. When we divide that out, we get about 0.16. So that's going to be unlikely. Next one, we have rolling a number other than 6. So we got 5, 6 there. Not quite to the 100%, so that one's going to be likely. Next one, rolling an even number, 1/2. So 1/2 is at 50%, so it's as likely as not. Next one, we have 2/3. Again, not that certain. That's not that 100%, so it's likely. Right below it. Next one, we have 1/2. As likely as not. And the last one, rolling a number divisible by 3, we got 1/3. So that would be the unlikely, not quite to the 50%. All right, let's look at our last question. A hat contains pieces of paper marked with the numbers 1 through 16. Tell whether picking an even number is impossible, unlikely, as likely as not, likely, or certain. So we can number out all of our options and highlight the ones, or we can think about how many numbers are there and how many of them are even. Since we're just starting out with probability, I'm going to go ahead and write out our options. So write out 1 through 16. Now, we have to do even numbers. So let's highlight the even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. So let's count those up. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times that it was an even number out of how many total options? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Which can reduce down to 1/2. So 1/2 we saw in our number line. means as likely as not.